Alright, hello, this is Dane at Jonah Custom Guitars. We're going to do the bridge re-glue on this. I've spent a while here getting the glue hot and prepping various pieces of the system. This clamp I put under, I use this caul, put it up through the holes in the bridge, put this on top, and tighten everything down that way. So that was the process. And so let's get going before the glue cools off too much. So I'm just going to brush, this is hide glue, hot hide glue. Going to brush it in. Now I went ahead and prepped all these areas, steamed the joint or steamed the wood after I took the bridge off, and steamed and scraped, and then just now I took a piece of 60 grit just to clean this area up and give it some bite. Well, I noticed when I took the bridge off originally that the underside of this bridge was extremely rough, and could only imagine the reason for that. The Martin folks do the same thing so that they would have a lot of tooth for the glue to adhere to. Even if it didn't create any more, if it's not the scratches or places for the glue to go, it actually would create more glue area. Just because a straight line is straighter, shorter distance between a crooked line, right? If that makes any sense the way I'm saying it. Point being that you can create more glue surface by roughing the area up because it's not straight across. Okay, probably the hard way to say all that. But so, just going to put that there. At some point, I think I'd like to have a vacuum clamp for this, but I haven't completely figured out how I would clean up around the joint after the fact with a vacuum bag. I guess you can't really, you just have to wait. So I did a couple sacrificial pegs there, string pegs, just to help align the bridge. There's nothing wrong with where it was located, so we're going to stay with that. I got glue on that one there, just couldn't see the end of it. So, also, like I said, I pre-did all this stuff, so I cut these little rubber pieces to go over here to space the clamp up, but also has the effect of holding the coal in place while I put the rest of it together. Little pieces here that were radiused to fit the bridge, and then that right on there. This was a different thickness, so this side is a little thinner piece of felt, and this just goes on there. Put the wing nuts on. Now you probably know enough about guitar construction to know that there's a bridge plate right underneath this center section of bridge that I'm tightening against with the assistance of that aluminum coal to get some glue on the end of that screw, so that's why it's not just spinning down. So out at the ends this is why I think that a vacuum bag would be nice. Out at the ends of the bridge here, you don't get the kind of pressure. You kind of have to predetermine how well that's going to go down, and that's what I've done with these different size coals. little clamping blocks. And so snug that down. That's all lined up. Snug that down. Push the bridge forward at a little gap between the bridge and the tape here that I didn't have when I did my dry run. Excuse me while I check this. That looks good. So I'm told from what I've read on hide glue that it actually shrinks or sucks as it dries or cools off and dries, so it actually pulls the joint tighter together than it might otherwise be. And I'm checking to make sure that I have tension out here on the ends of my bridge where I don't have a coal underneath. I started to say that earlier, but I do have X braces that go right through this area, right through here, but you've got the very tip out here that's sort of unsupported from underneath. So you don't want to over tighten it because I don't want to cause the top to, pull down there from the force of the bridge on it. At the same time, you want to make sure that everything's snug and that you don't have any gaps. That, otherwise, it was kind of pointless. Bridge wants to keep sliding back even with those little extra pins I had in there. I have an awl right here. I'm going to see if I can shove that bridge pin in farther and snug that up. I think it's down as far as it's going, because I've tried to cut it short on the bottom side. Alright, now the other thing that I have, because I've used this clamp differently before, is that I have these little threaded holes here. So I'm just putting a little down pressure on the very end of that. Got my hand in the way because I'm trying to keep this bridge where I want it by hand. So just a little down pressure right there, not much. Actually looks like the end is where it needs to be, and so maybe the tape just kind of shrunk back. Double check something here. I don't know if I identified this yet. I will on the post, but this is the 1950 00 Martin that I just posted a couple videos of removing the bridge. Don't know if I posted the neck removal yet, but that happened as well. And so I'm going to tape, glue out here on the tape is already dry. I'm going to wet a paper towel and wipe around the edge of this. I sanded this bridge all down. It had somebody's driver's license number engraved into it, and the new owner wanted to get rid of that. So I sanded it up to 400 or 600 and oiled it a couple times so that I could do this process and not worry about the glue getting down in the grain in the bridge and then having to deal with that. I've done these with regular Titebond a lot of times. Did a Formica guitar. It's kind of an experiment. You may have seen that video. And I used epoxy on that, and I'll tell you what, so far, neither of those clean up. All the epoxy is impossible. But this is coming up really nicely. A little water. Right, just cleaning that off. I tried to arrange all this so that I'd have room enough to get in there and work around the clamp to get all this glue wiped out. Really not much squeeze out going on here, which is nice. So I've pretty much there, past watching the glue dry. I think we're done with this. Can't think of anything else that needed to get mentioned here. Subscribe and like, do all that YouTube stuff. You know, I'm really brand new to posting videos on YouTube. I don't know how to edit anything. I am back on the iPad because I managed to get some more storage space, get rid of a bunch of stuff. Still trying to figure out how to get all that over to my other computer so that I can clear the iPad out. And I much prefer to upload these videos on the iPad. I prefer to record them on the iPad. So, but I ran out of storage. I'm still trying to figure out how to do that even with the cable on iTunes. So, but yeah, so this is done. I'll let you see this from the front side. It's just a piece of angled aluminum. I left the bridge in, or the saddle, excuse me, left the saddle in on this because it was in there very well, and it's a 3 saddle, and I didn't want to deal with that. So working around it, it happened to work out that the clamp didn't interfere with the saddle anyway, so it was an okay deal. Anyway, that's what it looks like. It's not too complicated. I've done them also with just the Ibex type clamps. I had a video on the 12-string Takamine. I used the Ibex style. I just made some out of plywood. But I'd been using this previously, and I think it's actually a really good system. Everything looks extremely snug to the top. Don't see any kind of gaps anywhere. So, that's it. Thank you guys. Have a good day. Bye.